Hello everyone, welcome to the episode 1B in hexadecimal of Debugging TV Frames program. The topic of today's episode is detecting memory leaks from social platforms and checking for such leaks in memory dumps and live debugging sessions. And we also see one WinDBG command that is useful for searching ASCII strings in process heaps or in any memory region. This episode is mainly hands-on, but before we switch to WinDBG session, I tell you a bit of history. I usually launch Facebook, LinkedIn and Twitter all at the same time, but what I noticed that from time to time Internet Explorer becomes sluggish or unresponsive, especially on the next day or after a couple of days. And during one such day, I found out in Task Manager that one Internet Explorer 32-bit was almost 1.5 gigabytes, bit more time, and it would have probably crashed or hanged. So what I did, I dumped crash dump using Task Manager, and this dump we now load into WinDBG and analyze. I launch the latest WinDBG 64-bit and we open a crash dump. You see that Internet Explorer dump is almost 1.5 gigabytes. So we open it. First we fix symbols. Then we do reload. If we dump stack trace, we see, because of these wow modules, that this is 64-bit crash dump from 32-bit process. And we now load wow64 extension and switch to 32-bit mode. And what we do now, we check heap statistics. And if we look at all these heaps, process heaps, we see that the first one is more than 500 megabytes. So we suspect a memory leak here going on. And we try another command, address summary. We would like to see the largest heap region. So we see the last section, largest region by usage. We see heap 32. The largest region has this base address and it is more than 16 megabytes. So we are lucky here because this region actually contains ASCII data inside. So let's dump it using db command. Let's dump the first 400 bytes. What we see here is some JavaScript code related to Cavalry Logger, and there's also some Unicode data saved as ASCII. And I searched for Cavalry Logger on internet and I found some people complaining about memory leaks when they use Facebook. So let's first check this address, base address. We see it belongs to the main, so the first heap. And I clicked on this link, hyperlink, and we see all these segments that belong to this process heap. And what we are going to do now, we're going to search for Cavalry logos in these segments, because some of them you see quite large, some are small. So basically we use this command s-a, specify the start address of the first segment, and then what we do, we specify the last address of the last segment, subtract the first address of the first segment, and then we prepend L question mark. This is the size to search, and we search for Cavalry logo. And we find lots of entries with addresses quite apart. But remember that when I dumped this file, there were 3 websites at the same time: Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter, so I wasn't so sure which one was responsible. And I did small experiments. I launched all these websites independently, attached WinDBG, and checked Cavalry logo in their first heap, process heap. And I didn't find anything for LinkedIn or Twitter, but for Facebook I found Cavalry logo. And so let's repeat this for Facebook. First of all, we launch Internet Explorer and check in Task Manager that we have 2 instances, one 64-bit and one 32-bit. And we are interested in 32-bit, so we need to attach 32-bit WinDBG. Let's take the latest one from Windows Kids. I have several versions of WinDBG installed in my system, so we launch 32-bit WinDBG and attach to this process. And from command line we see that this is indeed 32-bit because it was launched from program files x86. So we attach invasively. Then we usually fix symbols. We reload and check heap. So heap is quite small. So what we do here, we see all these heap segments. So we have only a few segments, and so we search for Cavalry logo. We just to make sure that this Cavalry logo is not present by the original website loaded into Internet Explorer. So we search from this start address till this end address minus, of course there are gaps, but they are skipped during search. We search for Cavalry logo, string. So we found a few instances of Cavalry logo. How come it can be? Because we didn't launch Facebook. But this is because this site actually uses Facebook. So let's resume. Because here we have this Facebook like. So what we do, we refresh and see if there is any leak. And then we break and first check heap. We have the same number of segments. But now we have more Kevlar logos. So let's now resume and run Facebook, launch Facebook. So I launch my own page and we go back to WinDBG, break in and check heap. Actually heap increased, and if we check the number of segments, we see actually that another segment was added. So we now need to modify and add another address, another last segment address. So now if we search for Kevlar logos, we see even more Kevlar logos. So now let's resume Facebook and do refreshes. So notice we no longer run our own website, only Facebook. So then we break in heaps, check heaps, and let's see how many logos we have. So the last one we found out had address 14F, and now if we search for this address downwards, I didn't check 14F. So we see there are even more Kevlar logos. You see they now start with 15. So if we resume, go back to my page, do a bit more refreshes or scrolls, then go back to WinDBG and do break. And search for Kevlar logo again. We see even more entries. Now we have 158, and the last time we had 156. So we clearly see the increase of all these entries. There are more and more of them. So we clearly see memory leak resulted from Facebook usage. This is what I wanted to show you, and this is all for this hands-on exercise. And we finally come to our usual add slide of forthcoming training sessions and free webinars. And we are planning Deep Down C++ course in December and already finalized the dates. And so, thank you for watching this episode. Please later check out the slides and recorded video from debugging.tv. The next episode should be on the 2nd of December due to accelerated Windows memory dump analysis this month. So thank you very much for attending, and see you all next month in December. Thank you. Bye-bye.